Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, January 3rd, 2020. This weekend is massive for the NFL. Wild card game matchups. Who's going to make it to the divisional round? Who's going to upset who? Or will all the favorites get wins this weekend? We'll talk about that. All the quarterbacks in the playoffs have been ranked by ESPN. We will react to that and judge the people who like to judge other people. 1-833-622-3331. Join us for some conversation. Michael Lombardi, former GM of the Cleveland Browns, joins us at 10:15. And then in the next hour, we have Steve-O for the final 30 minutes of the show. Can't wait to chat with him about his insane life that he has decided to live. It's going to be a good one. Another feel-good Friday here. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Out of your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is Chase Rice. I appreciate you for that intro song. Joining me in Indianapolis, Indiana, on the casting, chatting couch, Boston Connor. The NBA is in full swing. Can't wait to hear from you. Zion Williamson, first full day of practice yesterday. The can't-miss stud that I have been watching since his junior high school days, dunking on little white kids, is inching closer and closer to an NBA debut. Excited for that. I assume you are as well, Boston Connor.
Absolutely. Zion said he wanted to come back 2 weeks ago, so we might be around the corner from a little action.
Is there already some dysfunction down there for the Pelicans between Zion and who's playing when? I'm not 100% sure. On the ones and twos, playing our hack music because we can't play real music because we don't have the licenses. At Nick Maraldo, how you feeling, Nick?
Good, man. Feels like a hack day.
What does that mean?
Why do you always have to bring everything down? Yesterday, in notable news that we had to change to news that we missed that we'll do at the end of the hour with you. You had 7 deaths in it.
Just 2. I mean, people die. It's news. You got to know.
Not for this show, though. This is a feel-good Friday, and you said, I'm ready for a hack Friday. Like, no, we're ready for a great Friday.
Yeah. The music.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. At Tone Diggs wearing his 2 Chainz hoodie that we got at the Atlanta Hawks game. How do you feel going into one of the biggest weekends of the NFL this weekend, wild card weekend, big things, especially for a degenerate like yourself?
I'm amped. Even like when my team is not in the playoffs, I'm amped. Playoff time is the greatest time of the year.
Yeah, win and move on. Lose and go home. Your fans have been riding this wave since the training camp kicked off in August. Now, you've done everything you could possibly do to get yourself into the dance. Did you get a bye week? No. You have to play in wild card weekend. But if you lose, everything you did this year was worth a single damn. Absolutely nada. But can some upsets happen? Can some teams get hot? Can the Tennessee Titans go into Foxborough and get a big win against a team that everybody is saying is dead? I will not bet on it, but it feels like that has the potential of happening this weekend. I also like the fact that it's one game on at a time. So we can watch every single game. And then bang, I think there's some award show on Sunday night. So we got, this weekend is set up perfectly for those who like to stay inside and relax and hang out and watch the television. We got wild card game, go ahead and snooze, wake up, wild card game, Golden Globes. Are you kidding me? This might be the best weekend of the entire freaking year.
I love Saturday NFL games.
Me too. I'm a big fan of it, unless you're calling the Boca Bowl. And Boca Raton, for those that are new to the show, I was forced to sideline report the Boca Bowl while the NFL had like 6 or 7 of its most important games happening on Saturday. At Ty Schmidt, the Green Bay Packers get a bye this weekend. Aaron Rodgers is fed up with everybody. You are an owner of the Packers. How do you feel about the NFC, and how do you feel about the Packers in general?
Feel good about the Packers. We'll talk about those quarterback ratings later. Rodgers very low on that list. That's okay. That's he is fueled by that type of fire. I'm excited this weekend. Just do a little advanced scouting. Just see who we potentially have next weekend. Yep. Hasn't happened in a while, so I'm very, very excited.
Jason McAfee's back from his double vacation. Viva La Zito is here getting ready for World War III. Zito, I saw you with a lightsaber earlier. I'm not sure how that'll play in World War III, but I think you're prepared for it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be unstoppable out there, and we'll see what happens.
Attaboy. Evan Foxy, also eligible, very much eligible for World War III. Excited about that.
Well, can you guys explain to me what's going on? Because I've missed it all.
I don't think anybody knows, by the way. All you need is one person to say World War III is happening, and bang, it's trending on Twitter, and now we got to lose our minds.
Great memes. I could potentially get drafted, is what you're saying.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Big time.
Yeah, but they'll draft you, though, and it'll be like Zion. They'll sit you out. Tom McAfee. The thought of the government drafting Foxy, taking one look at him and being like, we got to take it slow with this guy. We got to get some meat on the bones over here. Hey, maybe you fly a drone or two, though. I think that's the next World War if there's ever going to be one. Tom McCombs is already on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. Big news yesterday on the internet that got announced and then denounced and then announced again, and then now everybody's just rolling with the thought that Jason Garrett is completely out of the Cowboys because Ed Werder said that the next phase is phasing out Jason Garrett. They've had 3 meetings of chit-chat. We have been under the assumption that Jason Garrett has been crying in these meetings, and Jerry Jones, who says that Jason Garrett is a part of the family, he's been there for decades now as a player, as an assistant coach, now as a head coach for 9 years, 8 years. Jerry Jones has said it's been difficult to part ways with him. Just like any relationship, when you're thinking about breaking up with somebody, whenever they cry or something like that, it can be very difficult, especially if you still like the person. You just know that it's not right for either of you. So Jason Garrett has managed to move forward in these meetings without being officially let go. He had to do the year-end meetings with all the players, and the players were like, hey, it sounds as if Jason Garrett's coming back next year, the way he was talking to us. Like, hey, you got to work on this for next year. We're excited for you to do this next year. We're excited for you to do this next year. I'm not 100% sure if a coach who knew he was going to get fired would act like that. A lot of people tweeted me saying, how's he supposed to act in those year-end meetings? I was like, well, if he's going to get fired, he knows he's going to get fired. He could say, hey, it's been a privilege to coach you. If I were you, these are the things I would work on to be a better professional going forward. There's all in your phrasing. Jason Garrett, by all accounts of the players, now just what I've seen, has been taking these year-end meetings with these players as if he is going to be back next year. I would assume he's using words like we and us and we think you can do this or do that. Those year-end meetings, by the way, are very interesting. Very, very interesting, especially when you're walking into a lame duck coach. I couldn't even fathom what that would be like. But for me, Ed Werder reports that they're getting fired. Then somebody else comes out and says that they're not getting fired. Other coaches have been told to seek other jobs. Other coaches have been told that they'll be there. This Dallas Cowboys coaching situation is awesome. I mean, this is just absolutely awesome. Nobody has a clue what's going to happen. And aside from Ron Rivera, nobody's been hired yet, so the Dallas Cowboys are not behind the 8 ball on who they're going to hire next. It's a wild scene in Dallas, and I think this is exactly how Jerry Jones likes it. I don't think Jason Garrett's going to be the coach next year.
Pat, I have a question for you.
Yeah, buddy.
If they're as close, Jerry Jones and he, as people say, is there any possibility he's taking so long because Jerry Jones maybe is saying, listen, if you want to go on to be a head coach, we'll release you and you can go do that. Or I love you, you can stay in the front office somewhere and take a different job within the organization.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would assume that they are offering him a potential.
Because that could cause some delay, right? in decision making.
Well, I don't know about that
on his behalf.
I don't know if I don't think Jason Garrett's the one that is taking the long time here for the decision. I would assume this is Jerry Jones trying to figure out how to properly do this. Now, when Jeff Saturday left the Colts and went and played for the Packers, and he came back for the Colts for a day to retire as a Colt, they offered him this front office job. His name is still on an office door somewhere. He has never done a single thing with that. It was like one of those, here's a memorial position for the front office for Jeff Saturday. Maybe they'll do that with Jason Garrett because he's been around so long. But there's no way in hell I would want the fired coach to be around the team, especially if it's a lot of the same players when a new coach comes in with a new energy, a new everything. Now I've been on the record saying I think Lincoln Riley's the guy. I think Lincoln Riley's the right decision here as the head coach. Now, is Lincoln Riley going to leave Boomer sooner? I don't know. I don't know what more he could potentially accomplish at Oklahoma that he hasn't already accomplished. He gets Heisman's out the ass. He gets him to the college football playoff, gets buzzsawed every single year. Probably going to continue to happen because he can't keep up with the SEC unless he can. I don't know. I mean, I'm no genius. I think it's one recruiting class away, I guess, from being a stud. But he's accomplished a lot at Oklahoma. He's done all this. So maybe he feels content and happy knowing that he could be at Oklahoma for the rest of his life. But if you can be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, I would assume that would be the right move. And a guy that's just offensively innovative as Lincoln Riley is, with Dak Prescott, who's incredibly talented, Zeke, Amari Cooper, you name it. You go down, Cobb is down there. You name it. Have him get in there, bring in a very experienced defensive coordinator. Now you got a match made in heaven of brand new energy. I don't know if I want the Clapper kind of hanging around to kind of be like, hey, back when we used to do this, we used to do this. Now, if it's a front office position where he's out there like speaking for the Cowboys, because I think by all accounts, anytime Jason Garrett gets on a microphone, he's very much like a politician. He doesn't say anything bad or detrimental. He doesn't really answer anything, but he keeps it moving. For me, that's the right move. A lot of people say Lincoln Riley shouldn't be the head coach because his defense was atrocious at the Big 12. Lincoln Riley's not the defensive coordinator.
Right.
In the NFL, the defensive coordinator will handle that. Lincoln Riley will just oversee everything, keep the offense moving forward. It's a brand new energy. I think that's the right move, just in my eyes. But who knows what they're going to do because they're just, tiddly-tattling along here. He doesn't want to break up with them. Send the text, keep it moving. conflicting reports. I'm excited to hear from Michael Lombardi about how that could possibly happen.
Yeah, as far as last night was very confusing, but I assume Jason Garrett is talking to his players as he's going to be there next year because he's in denial, and that's why he's crying in the meetings. But why they're taking so long, I also saw a report that the Joneses spent New Year's Eve in Aspen. And
you don't want to ruin a ski trip.
And there was very bad weather, so
Yeah,
private
yeah.
planes could not get out, so they couldn't get back to Dallas to fire him in time.
Well, that's where the women flow like the fish at Capistrano or whatever. Aspen. I'm talking about a place called Aspen. The fact that the meetings were delayed because they were stuck on a ski trip in Colorado, the most Jerry Jones thing of all time. I love and respect everything about that. It's just been a very interesting situation.
It's the Cowboys.
And the fact everybody's talking about how Jerry looks at this like a family. We talked to John Machota yesterday, the beat writer for The Athletic for the Dallas Cowboys. He talked about how he really views Jason Garrett as his son. Was he going to give him a percentage of the team then? Is it really that close of a family? Is it that close? If I'm Jason Garrett, I'm like, if I'm viewed as like a son here, I would like a little, maybe a percent or two. But if it is a family, and that's how Jason Garrett is really viewed, Jason Garrett needs to look his father in the eye and say, hey, I let you down. I've ruined this franchise, and take one right on the shoulder and kind of get out of there. I just don't understand how the conflicting reports come out, and that's why I can't wait for this next conversation with our next guest. We need to get to a break. We got a guy on the other side who's been a GM in the NFL. He's been with the Patriots. He's been with the Browns. He's a book writer. He's a gambler. He's a host. He's very, very talented. Michael Lombardi joins us on the other side of the break to chit-chat about how all these conflicting reports can happen. Who's going to be the next head coach of the Cowboys? What's going to happen with the Brownies? What's going to happen with the Carolina Panthers? There's a lot of questions, and most importantly, who's he hammering this weekend so we can make all the monies from our friends at FanDuel? This is the Pat McAfee Show. I can't wait to get to it.
Ten years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 10:18 here on the East Coast, 7:18 Pacific. We're being joined now by a man who is a GM in the NFL. He's a talk show host. He's a gambler. He's an incredible guest and friend of the show, Michael Lombardi. What up, man?
Hello, Pat. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Let's get right to it. I have a question now. You were a GM for the Cleveland Browns. You were in the front office for the Patriots. You've been around the NFL for a long, long time. Your name is synonymous with the NFL. When I was at the Colts, Schefter, Mortensen, Jay Glazer, these people knew more about the team that I was on than I did. And now you got these conflicting sources and reports happening with the Jason Garrett situation with Jerry Jones. I have a couple questions to you. Who leaks the information? Is it like owners and general managers? Who are the sources that these people have? Because it feels as if they are in very high places, especially whenever you think about the information that gets leaked to these humans.
Yeah, I think, well, it comes from high-level execs, owners as well. I mean, I think their Rolodex is filled with powerful people. They want to control the narrative. So if they let it out there, they get to control the narrative. And, they have relationships with the owner, and the owner always wants to be in a good light, so he wants to control the narrative. So some teams are owner-based, some teams are GM-based, some teams are personnel guys. I agree with you. They know more than people actually in the organization, which is problematic.
Yeah, I came off of practice one time and learned that one of our best players was gone. I'm like, what the hell happened? I literally just saw him. They're like, reports, sources say out of Indianapolis, but blah, blah, blah. He's injured and gone for the rest of the year. I'm like, damn. I feel like I just watched
I mean, look, let's face it. We're really not having this conversation unless ESPN confirms that we're actually having it. So we have to know that, too, right? They confirm it, and then they report it. So
Can confirm.
I can't confirm. I do the same thing.
Diggs' new gimmick is that he can't confirms everything that everybody says. So conflicting reports now. Werder, who's been around, I think, the Cowboys a long time, I would assume he has a pretty deep inside there, is that Jason Garrett is being phased out. It just took a little bit to get there because he was a family member. Have you ever seen anything like what's happening with the Cowboys now, where a coach has been a lame duck for what seems to be the last 2 months of the season? Now there is no definitive decision being made. He's taking year-end meetings with players, acting as if he's coming back, and now they have to move on to this next step in an interesting fashion, while other people are like, no, it's not a foregone conclusion. He's gone yet. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's face it. Jerry runs a family business, right? And he has a great respect for Jason. He likes Jason. And I think the fact that he put out there that Jason will get a job 10 minutes if he's not a coach for me is trying to help Jason. And I think the last 72 hours have been all about trying to help Jason find employment somewhere, whether it's with the Giants, whether it's with the Browns, whether it's with Carolina, like allowing him to explore his options. I think we're dealing in semantics here. His contract expires January 14th. He's not coming back. And Jerry just saying he fires him might be really something hard for him to do. So he's going to let him explore his options and over the weekend and see if he can come up with one of those jobs that everybody said he was going to get. So, I mean, the Cowboys are moving on. There's no doubt. And I think this is just Jerry having a heart and Jerry being really treating Jason like a family member.
Okay, as a former general manager in the NFL, how do you think you should view hiring your next coach? Like, you look at the Cleveland Browns right now, they're talking about Dee Podesta, who is in California, is going to hire the coach, and the coach is going to help hire the general manager, which I think, by the way, not that bad of a decision if the coach and the GM are on the same page, depending on who you get as the coach. Now, for the Cowboys, everybody knows that Jerry Jones is going to be making roster decisions. Who do you think he needs to look to be the next coach to potentially get them in a state of relevance, which they haven't been for a long, long time?
The Brownies, that's a hard one because the owner seems to like to have a setup of an organization that has a Democratic House and a Republican Congress. I mean, it always seems to be different, right? And you said it perfectly when you said that they should unify themselves. They haven't been unified. And I think that the coach needs to come in and pick it. I don't understand the Dee Podesta thing. Look, Dee Podesta said Carson Wentz wasn't a top 20 quarterback a couple months, right? He also traded the pick that was essentially Deshaun Watson to the Houston Texans. So, I get the analytics. I'm all for analytics. However, I'm not for, this guy should just come in and run your organization. I think the problem in Cleveland has been Dorsey was not really an executive. He was more of a scout. I think Haslam's looking for somebody to come in and run the team. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, look, there's a lot of us that are out there that have been paid by the Browns. A lot of us. I mean, we can almost get T-shirts made for us all. Seriously, there's been a lot that Jimmy's fired a lot of guys. I mean, there's a lot of tombstones out there.
You guys should make a Facebook group. Now, whenever you talk about like the Dallas Cowboys, I am under the strong conviction that Lincoln Riley would be a great option for them there, strictly because it's a fresh face, a fresh voice for that offense to get going. You get a very experienced defensive coordinator who's been around, that knows the lay of the land in the NFL, and maybe that could potentially bring them to above 500 team for more than 1 year in a row, like the Dallas Cowboys haven't been able to do. In your eyes, who's going to be the coach of the Cowboys, or who would make a good coach for the Cowboys?
I think Jerry doesn't want to go in the college way. I think it's going to be somebody Jerry's comfortable with. I think it's going to be somebody Jerry has a relationship with. I think Jerry's about the person as much as the coach. Like, I think that's really, he wants somebody that understands how he's going to work. That's why it's so hard for him to fire Garrett, because Garrett was essentially the perfect fit for Jerry. You know, got along with him, hung out with him, more than just football. I don't see Lincoln Riley doing that. I think Lincoln Riley, is going to need a little bit more time in college football to really master that. So that's a hard one for me to predict, because it's going to be somebody he's comfortable with. I mean, if Sean Payton were available, that would be easy. He loves Sean Payton. I think if Mike Zimmer were available, he would love Mike Zimmer. You know, it would be somebody that he's going to have a relationship with that he likes.
This is so interesting. Ron Rivera just banned ping pong from the Washington Redskins locker room. Do you have a say on that?
Oh, I mean, if I were the GM of the Redskins, that thing wouldn't have been in the building. Look, this is not for my grandsons to come in here and play. Like, seriously, this is a job, right? We're here to do a job. Like, our job is to, if you want to play ping pong or pool in the locker room, no problem. You know, go do it in your own time. But when you walk in this building, we're going to work. We're going to work hard.
You think that's a distraction? Because, I mean, if they're in a building, there's something else they could be doing to get better, whether it's lifting, looking at more film, eating properly, maybe relaxing, something along those lines. You don't buy into the fact that team camaraderie building can happen around that ping pong table or those cornhole boards.
Well, I mean, we could also have team camaraderie. I have no problem with that, but I just think I don't want to make it easy for that. I think we should do that, but I don't want to look, we're in there to do a job. It's a message to send to the players. We need you to focus and concentrate, not worry about who's doing it. Look, every locker room I've been in, they're playing dominoes. You know, the guys have the board. I got no problem with that. I would never, as an executive, go in a locker room. I think it's a sacred place. I think that's where the players and coaches should be the only ones that go in the locker room.
I wasn't a bad dice player there for a little bit. Pretty good at cornhole as well, but they got rid of that.
I could see it.
Yeah, I was pretty good at dice. I mean, there's not a lot of thought about the odds, so you can usually take advantage of people. But that's neither here nor there. We had a good time in the locker room, and I think whenever you have a happy locker room, it can portray out on the field as well. Let's move forward.
I agree, and I think it's a little bit like it's about how you build a team. If you build a team with guys that really love the work and love the play, it's going to be, the camaraderie is going to come together.
I'm intrigued to see how Dwayne Haskins does and what Dwayne Haskins makes a jump from this last year to next year, because at the beginning of the year, whenever he was, staying away from Case Keenum, he wasn't really watching film on the sideline. He was kind of off by himself, let alone the fact he was charging people to come to his draft party. It was like, this guy doesn't get it. And then he got on the field and he started balling. They have a chance to really make a jump from this year to next year, and I'm excited to see if Ron Rivera can take him there.
Yeah, I mean, they finally got some adult supervision in the room. I think Bill Callahan did a really good job for him. I think he really did. He kind of tried to do as best he could to turn the team around that was really run by the president of the team, who I call the punter. And finally, they punted the punter, and they were able to do that.
Why did you? Bruce Allen is a bumbling buffoon, and now you got to call him the punter? What is that?
Well, he punted at Richmond. He punted at Richmond. That's why I call him the punter. He was a punter at Richmond. Got drafted in the 12th round by the Baltimore. He was a punter. He could never hold your job, Pat. I can honestly say that.
Yeah, no.
Just for the record. All
punter
right.
of the decade. Whenever he said our culture is actually pretty good, I've never felt more sorry for a guy than that in that moment. Let alone Dan Snyder.
Like Baghdad Bob. Yeah, he was like Baghdad Bob. Our culture's good. The Americans aren't in Baghdad. It's like, seriously, we're right there, brother.
How about Dan Snyder coming out and saying Happy Thanksgiving on January 2nd? Was that because they beat the Panthers on Thanksgiving, which made them fire Ron Rivera, which made the Redskins hire Ron Rivera? That was the spin zone.
That's Sherlock Holmes' deductive reasoning right there. That's pretty impressive, Pat.
It wasn't me. It was people tweeting me, because I was like,
I'm not playing Clue with you ever again. You knew Professor Plum did it in the mailroom, right? right?
Hey, one of the best weekends of all time is happening this weekend. I mean, I'm pumped up about it. We got 4 primetime games with nothing else on other than the wild card games, then right into the Golden Globes on Sunday night. I mean, this is a vitamin and watch television weekend if I've ever seen one. What games are you looking forward to most, and what do you think is going to be the biggest tell for the Titans-Patriots game?
I think most of these playoff games, if you do a study, and I did this for Belichick, if you break down what really matters in playoff games, it really comes down to the ability to convert on third and short. You've got to be able to have a lot of third and short plays in your playbook. You've got to have it in defensively. The other thing it determines playoff games is red zone third downs and red zone offense and defense. You keep them out of the end zone. Like last week, I mean, when you watched the game, you know, everybody was saying, "Oh, you know, the team they didn't score in the red zone. They kicked field goals. They kept themselves in the game." Well, that's part of what you've got to be able to do. You've got to be able to score touchdowns. Like you can't. It never comes down to a call. It always comes down to what you do in the red zone. And I think that's going to be fortunate. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Titans. Everybody thinks, well, Derrick Henry's going to run the ball really effectively. I think the reality of it is running games don't really win playoff games.
Whoa.
I don't think passing games win playoff games.
Wow. Everybody on earth says if you can run the ball and stop the run in the playoffs, you're in a good spot because the weather, because of the way the teams are, everything like that. And you just came out and said, no, completely opposite, my friend.
I just don't see running games are going to determine the game. I think you've got to stop the run, but I think what's really going to determine the game are big plays, drive starters, making chunk yards in your passing game, and then controlling the game with your running game. Like, you're never going to score points running the football. You're going to kick field goals. And I think the more you try to establish the running game, the scores will stay low. I think playoffs are about quarterbacks, how well quarterbacks play. Ryan Tannehill's going into New England. He's never won. He's 0-6. Okay? He's 0-6, and he's got a minus 133-point differential when he walks in there. So in those 6 games, he's lost by 133 points. Now, the good news is he's playing a hell of a lot better now than he ever did for Miami. And he'll throw the ball. But will they be able to do it in balance? The other thing that's got to worry you is Tannehill's 1-4 in games under 40 degrees. It's going to have that winter mix up there. And so that's going to be a concern. I think the Patriots will probably play their best game of the year.
Yeah, well, I think so too, because that's just what the Patriots do. They get to the playoffs somehow, some way. This year, they 13-3. Is that what they were?
12-4.
12-4, and now it's like the world is ending, and they still have 12 wins. They get to the playoffs, and boy, it feels as if this Titans team, led by Vrabel, is the one that could potentially go in there and do it. But now you're listing off stats that make me feel as if they got no shot against the Patriots. They got no chance.
Well, I mean, I think they do. I think they have a shot, but I think New England's going to be able to move the football on them. Look, the Raider game when they played Tennessee was 21-21. Tennessee lost at home to Houston, right? They lost at home. I mean, I think Tennessee's a really solid team, but they're 9-7 for a reason. I think they've had some games that they haven't been able to really come out. I think Tannehill's played well. I think Stephon Gilmore's going to play much better than he did last week against Miami. I think the Patriots defense will play much better than they did against Miami. I think that game might be the best thing that happened in New England. Not that I think they can win 3 in a row in the playoffs. I don't. But I think it'll help them focus and concentrate and get back on track.
What did you used to do for Belichick, by the way? You said you did a little research there for Belichick. I've seen you were a part of that.
What I always would try to do is help him in how I thought the game would be played, the point of emphasis. We were big believers in this is the 5 things that have to happen in the game for us to win. And it wasn't we have to run the ball or we have to convert third downs. Like, it was a little different. You know, it's going to be a lot more in-depth than that. And then also doing things that indicate studies, like you study why teams win in the playoffs and why they don't. I think there's all projects that you could do within the season that can help you enhance, and obviously player personnel.
He's a big art of war guy, huh?
Yeah, he is. I mean, he truly look, Bob Knight and all the great coaches have all said numerous times, there's a certain way you got to play a game to win. And Belichick subscribes to that theory. Every game is different, and every game requires you to play a different style. And this game, I think, especially as you get in the playoffs, you have to play a different style in order to win the game. He will play that style.
He said on that NFL 100 show, he said, you don't win a war by digging a hole. You got to attack. You got to you got to expose their weaknesses, take advantage of what you're good at, and it could be something completely different every single week. And you just got to do that. I think it's Shinzu Art of War. Is that what it is? Yeah. Shinzu Art of War is his big thing.
And that's what I try to is like you've got to like let's take Houston for Buffalo, right? What is Buffalo's strength? They haven't scored more than 17 points in the last 4 weeks. They really don't have a great passing game. We know that Josh Allen struggles with accuracy, right? The weakness of Houston is their secondary. Can their corners hold up? Well, Buffalo doesn't have great receivers to really attack. So I think Houston will play really good defense. I think J.J. Watt back will give them a lift. And I think Houston, even though everybody's betting Buffalo, I like Houston in this game because I think Houston can really move the football on Buffalo. I think it's a chess match between O'Brien and McDermott. But I like what Houston can do. I like the matchup for Houston.
Okay, so you like Houston. It sounds like you like the Patriots minus 5.5 as well. Is that right?
I do. I really do. I think New England. I think New England understands what to do when they play Tannehill. I think they know how to handle him. I think Gilmore will play better against A.J. Brown. I think they'll force the ball somewhere else. And I think they'll put pressure on Tannehill.
Oh, my God. I was on the Titans until about, 10 minutes ago? Now it's just a foregone conclusion that the Patriots are going to win this game. Let's go with the Vikings Saints. I'm assuming you like the Saints just because they have so much going on right now. I mean, the Minneapolis Miracle, the phantom pass interference. Now, the refs not calling the pass interference in that Niners-Seahawks game screw them out of a bye week. It feels like this is potentially a destiny year for the Saints and Drew Brees and Sean Payton, or am I wrong?
No, I like the Saints to win the game. I think this line's gotten a little out of hand. I think this line's gotten a little out of hand. I would take the Vikings to the points here. Okay. I think when you look at the last 4 games they've played, they're 2-2, and there's only been a 6-point differential between them. They played close games. Remember now, Zimmer and Peyton were on the Bill Parcells coaching staff in Dallas. They know each other really well. They understand what each other wants to do and how to play. This game's really going to come down to what the Saints can control on third down. Mike Zimmer makes a living on being able to attack you on third down. The Saints are the best team in what I call Canadian football. They're able to convert first downs and 2 downs. And that's why they're so effective. They play CFL football better than anybody in the National Football League. They're second to Baltimore in that area, which is a critical stat. I like this game to be close. I think both teams will move the ball on one another, Pat. But I think the Saints will win it. I think it'll be a field goal game.
Okay, in CFL, punters score points, by the way. Seahawks at Eagles. I'll tell you what, the Seahawks team was, an eighth of an inch away from getting a bye week. Now they have to go to Philadelphia, who thrives and lives in this underdog mentality. The entire city lives in this underdog mentality. At home, getting points are the Philadelphia Eagles, who are completely banged up but have been winning games under Carson Wentz's magic. Are they going to get the win here in Wild Card Weekend with Russell Wilson and the Birds coming flat?
I really think it's hard to beat a team twice on their own field. To go on the road and win twice in a city, I think is hard. I think the last game, when you break down the last game, the Eagles were 4 for 12 on third down. And if you break down the Eagles over the last 4 weeks, they have 50% on third down. That's why they've improved. Their defense is only playing 24 minutes. Their offense has controlled the ball 36 minutes. I think Seattle's a wounded team. I think they're hurt. I think they really can't throw the football effectively because Dwayne Brown's been hurt, their left tackle. I think Russell Wilson's been under 7 yards over the last 4 weeks in terms of throwing the football, yards per attempt. I like the Eagles here, Pat. I think the Eagles are playing better football. I think they'll do a much better job in this game. The last game was 17-3. The Eagles scored with 20 seconds left to go in the game. They couldn't really move the ball in this. I mean, their second half possession chart went fumble, punt, fumble, downs, interception, touchdown. They can't turn this ball over. They can't. And I don't think they will.
Hey, I think, what's your record on the year?
46-22-1.
Is that, I don't know.
Is that good? I
don't know. So, Pro Football Talk literally just tweeted out, Winter Storm Henry is set to hit New England this weekend, along with Derrick Henry. You do not believe that that's an omen that the Patriots are about to get hit with 2 Henrys? An Eiffel Tower of Henrys is about to come through.
Henry's coming. But let me say this. Tom Brady's record with under 40 degrees and Ryan Tannehill, I'm going to go Brady.
What is Brady's record under 40 degrees? Do you know?
I didn't look that up because it's usually pretty damn good. And in the snow, it'll be even better. They'll be ready for it.
It's also-
Everybody will load up on the Titans because they think in the snow and bad weather the running game prevails. No, it's the passing game.
That's what Josh Sitton said to us last week, actually. He said in that snow, Aaron Rodgers has these massive hands that people don't understand. If you can take advantage of that, actually, in the snow, it's a massive weapon as opposed to just the run game, which can help, by the way, when the snow's there because the defensive line can't get off the ball as fast. Normally, they don't love the banging there in the snow, but that happens on both sides now. Both can take advantage.
Winter Storm Henry, and it's Derrick Henry's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Derrick Henry's birthday, Winter Storm Henry, and Derrick Henry. You're talking about a gangbang coming.
Henry VIII. It's Henry VIII coming.
Brady is 50-7 under 40 degrees.
50-7 under 40 degrees, old Tom Brady.
A little better than my prediction record, I can tell you that.
Yeah, not by much, though. You're an incredible man. Mr. Lombardi, I can't thank you enough. Good luck this weekend with your bets. And every time you come on here, I feel like I learned something.
Thank you, Pat. Talk next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paisan Michael Lombardi. Appreciate you, man. All right, we got to get to a break. I love talking to that guy.
I was not expecting that change from the Titans to the Patriots. I'm all on the Patriots.
I don't think I was pushing anything harder than, I told myself I wasn't going to bet against the Patriots, but now that the Titans are coming to town and Vrabel said he's willing to cut off his baby maker to get a win, I'm all in on him. Then he starts breaking down the things. I'm like, oh, my God, they got no chance. They got no chance against the Patriots.
There was also a stat I read yesterday. Since week 13, the Titans are last against the pass, so Tom's probably going to have a decent day there, too.
Let's hope.
Everything. All the fun, right? The Patriots just ruin all the fun.
Just when you think it's over. Just when.
He ruined all my picks.
And then next week, I can't wait to hear what happens next week. You're like, Lombardi's going to be like, well, actually.
Maybe he's being a homer.
You know what, though? He was a guy that had to pick apart teams and, expose weaknesses and what we can. And they're just the winningest dynasty in the history. Let's assume Lombardi's pretty good at that. That's why he's such a good gambler. That's insane. You all know what season it is. It's bowl season. But it's not just any bowl season. It is the biggest and best bowl season of all time ever. And you know why?
Why?
Because Cheez-It is now the official snack of bowl season. Yes, Cheez-It, the cheesy, crunchy, satisfying snack, is proud to be an official sponsor of the college football playoff, but Cheez-It didn't stop there. No. Cheez-It also made its way out to the desert for the Cheez-It Bowl, where we saw the Cougars from Washington State lose to the Falcons from the Air Force Academy. And man, did we have fun, didn't we, Fox?
Great time.
They even made me the master of cheese, the M-Cheese, if you will. And even though the 2019 Cheez-It Bowl is over, the fun doesn't stop thanks to Cheez-It. Cheez-It is the perfect snack to watch the rest of the bowl games or wild card weekend with. So do your taste buds a favor and go get yourself a box of Cheez-It snacks. Cheez-It, the official sponsor of the college football playoff. Cheez-It is damn good.
Oh, yeah. Can't beat them.
So many varieties.
Love them.
Hey, that bacon cheese.
The grooves.
10:41, we get some phone calls on the other side. Then news that we missed with Nick. I mean, this has been a good first hour. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Friday, January 3rd, whatever the time is, wherever you are. I respect and appreciate it. We just got the phone with Michael Lombardi. He said the Texans -2.5, Patriots -5.5, Vikings +7.5, and Eagles +1.5 are the locks of the weekend. He's like 44, 22, and 1 or something like that. Guy's pretty good at gambling because in the NFL, his only duty was to figure out what one team's strengths are versus another team's weakness. That guy's been good for us all year. And he talked us into believing that the Patriots are a lock this week.
Yeah, I'm not so sure they're not going to win by like 2 to 3 touchdowns this weekend now.
Let's go. Winter Storm Henry is taking on New England. Derrick Henry is going to New England, and it's his birthday. That just sounds ripe for a Bill Belichick, Emperor of Evil, upset, big win, victory, just to send Derrick Henry, Winter Storm Henry, on his birthday back to Nashville. And I hate to say that because I thought this was potentially going to be the year that Vrabel would no longer have to say he would cut off his baby maker to win a Super Bowl. I thought this was a potential team that could go in there, especially after the Ryan Fitzpatrick gets a win. But just like Lombardi said, it feels like that game was the game that they needed. Like that game was a game where they got punched in the mouth by a guy who has beaten them in numerous different jerseys now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to reset them for this weekend. And boy, Tom Brady is 50-7 in games below 40 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And Tannehill is what?
0-6.
0-6.
Love it.
Hey, they're back. They're back. Patriots are about to go on a tear again. I mean, they still have to run through Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, which is going to be tough. But for the weekend, it seems as if this is a lock for the Patriots, which is just
It's nice.
It's wild. Let's go to Sean in Boston. Can't wait to get his wicked takes on the weekend. What's going on, Sean?
Tesla, just wondering your thoughts on the possibility of the Patriots trading up in this upcoming draft, maybe picking a higher talented quarterback, or maybe staying where they are, picking up a wide receiver, keeping Brady for next year. Just wondering your thoughts on that.
Sean, are you a Patriots fan, yeah?
Big Pats fan, yeah.
Did you listen to what Lombardi just said, and how excited are you for the fact that, I mean, you probably already agreed with this, but, I mean, the Patriots are definitely going to win this weekend. That has to feel good.
Oh yeah, man.
I had a stroke.
I thought he had a stroke, too. Did Sean just die? Search party of Sean. It is intriguing what's going to happen with Tom Brady after this year. I think a lot of it depends on if they win a Super Bowl or not, right? Let's assume that they are not going to be able to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because Lombardi's going to come on next week and tell me why they're going to. But let's say they don't. Let's not assume. Let's say they don't win the Super Bowl and he doesn't get his 7th or whatever it is. Does he go elsewhere knowing that his contract is up, knowing that his entire legacy forever will be not jaded by, but talked about is, hey, you've had the greatest coach of all time, the greatest situation of all time. Will he want to go somewhere else and try to build up his own legacy, win somewhere else for a year or two? Or will he be done and try to float off into entrepreneurialism where he has that TB12 treatment, that weird chocolate he sells, and all that other handsome stuff he does? I don't know. There's been talks that he's going to come to the Colts now. Colin Cowherd yesterday put the internet into a buzzsaw when he said Tom Brady and the Colts fits. I'm like, I don't know if you've been to Indianapolis, but there are not a lot of big Tom Brady fans here. But if he comes to Indianapolis, oh my God, there would be a parade for the guy here, just like there would be anywhere, by the way. He goes to the Chargers, which we predicted very, very long time ago. The Chargers would need a new face of a franchise, especially with a new stadium coming and what seems to be a fan base dwindling for the Chargers. He'd be a good fit there. He loves Los Angeles. But I don't know. As we go on, I remember what it felt like to see Peyton Manning put on another uniform. I don't know how it'll be for Tom Brady to put on another uniform. It could be a crazy scene, but that is a story that is going to be cooking for as long as there is a chance of him going somewhere else.
I don't think Tom's done after this year.
I don't think so.
No Giselle would love Indianapolis.
I would love the Colts.
She would. Giselle would love like the 3 or 4 restaurants.
I would be excited to see what happens. A TB12 treatment facility here in Indy would be good for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For our health, for our life, for everything
absolutely.
like that. And Vinatieri's potentially going to be on the team too. Those two are boys. Have them stick around together.
As far as trading up to get a quarterback, I believe Lombardi actually said last week, but they the organization actually likes Jarrett Stidham, who's the backup now, who they drafted.
And there was people on Get Up this morning. They were like, well, he did okay in preseason and all that stuff.
They waived him earlier in the year and then brought him back.
I don't know. The whole scene, you got to see how they do this year. If they lose this weekend or next weekend, I think there's going to be quite a scene coming to New England. And I think anybody outside New England is excited about it. Everybody inside New England is like, we have no idea what's going to happen, but it's been a hell of a run. That's what you think, right?
Hell of a run. It's been fun, but hopefully it's not the end.
Hey, it's been a wicked fun run, bro. That's not going to end this weekend, even though Winter Storm Henry and Derrick Henry's coming up there on his birthday, because Michael Lombardi just told us all the reasons why. There might have been some news that we missed. For that, we turn to our friend Nick Morado. Nick, what did we miss today?
The rapper DaBaby was arrested in Miami and charged with battery in connection with robbery. He allegedly robbed his victim of $80, a credit card, and then doused him in apple juice.
I do what I want. Yeah. Call the truce. You want apple juice? Take your iPhone. Send you home. Yeah. Isn't he rich?
Yeah, that's what I would expect.
He made this entire video about him on a private plane. Said this is a baby plane. It was like a G350 or something like that. It was a bigger plane than we've been on all year. It was a bigger plane than Ursay has. He was like, this is just a baby plane. He had 7 chains on. He's got a gold grill on. He must hate this guy. That's why the apple juice came flying out. He got into a beef. And I think if you steal $80 in an iPhone and dump apple juice on a person, what's that? Todd, that's like 4 hours of community service and then you're done with that, or what is that? It's not that big of a deal, right?
Yeah, no, I think maybe some community service and maybe a house arrest I would put him in a shed. I'd make him live in a shed for 1 week. And like, think about what you did in this tiny little house.
Yeah, I mean, the apple juice move is just like a disrespect move. So he disrespected.
Hey, now there is somebody in this office right now that loves apple juice more than any other human on earth. Zito, how do you feel about that apple juice toss?
I'm going to tell you right now, he should be arrested for losing that much apple juice.
Wasting apple juice.
You can kill someone doing that, too.
It's
People
actually
are allergic to apples.
Yeah.
My fiance is allergic to apples. Can't have apples.
The seeds in apples, too, is cyanide. Don't forget that.
That's insanity. Shout out to DaBaby, building up his street cred, getting arrested.
If you have a chance, look at the video, too. The video's funny.
It's like when Rick Ross almost died because he was having a threesome with Christopher. It's like such a good street cred builder. Yeah, robbed a dude. Apple juice. We'll be back on the other side. More phone calls and Steve-O. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. I have no idea why.
Did you know over 60% of men experience significant hair loss by age 35? Some shave it or hide it, but some of us want to treat it. That's why there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get personalized hair loss treatment and unlimited follow-ups from a U.S. licensed physician. If treatment is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping. Get started today with a free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Out of your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right. It's Punter of the Decade Show. Joining me in Indianapolis, Indiana on the chatting casting couch at Boston Connor. We just talked to Michael Lombardi in the first hour about why the Patriots are going to win this weekend. That has to feel damn good for your big brain.
50-7 in games under 40 degrees for Tom Brady. Give me a break. That feels amazing.
It has to. Winter Storm Henry is coming to New England this weekend, and there was a time where I played for a team where high-up executives thought that Bill Belichick and Kraft controlled the weather up there. And now that a winter storm is supposed to hit at the same exact time that a wild card game where a lot of people are questioning whether or not they're going to win is intriguing and interesting, but it is also January in New England, which could be interesting. King Henry, Derrick Henry, it's his birthday tomorrow, playing against the Patriots in a wild card game, which a lot of people are going to revolve around the run game. To think that Tom Brady isn't going to be prepared for that is going to be kind of scary. And to think that what Bill Belichick does is he exposes your weaknesses and then takes away what your advantages are, right? He's always been known to do that. And if you're on a team like T.Y. Hilton, for instance, the first year that T.Y. Hilton got double covered instead of anybody else on the team, it was almost like a compliment to T.Y. Hilton that Bill Belichick noticed that you are the weapon of the team and he's going to eliminate you. It's been talked about. They make you play left-handed. That's what they always do. Not like what Tua's dad did and made him play, but they actually make you play without your strengths. Derrick Henry is the strength of that team. Let's assume that Bill Belichick is going to go ahead and try to eliminate him. It's just whether or not Brown and Tannehill can get loose. But with Gilly Lock out there, it just feels as if this is another layup for the Patriots. Congrats to them. Dynasty isn't dead. Also on the ones and twos, at Nick Moraldo has been playing great hack music. Do we miss any news that we're going to get to at the end of this hour when Steve-O's here?
Yes, we got tons of news lined up.
I can't wait. Steve-O is joining us in 27 minutes. Yes, that's Steve-O from Jackass Acclaim. He's a stand-up comedian. He's turned his life around, by the way. The guy used to be addicted to everything, including sex, and has come full circle. Now they're releasing a fourth Jackass. Can't wait to chat with him about that and life on this beautiful Feel Good Friday. At Tone Diggs wearing his 2 Chainz hoodie. What are you looking forward to about this weekend, Diggs?
So there's some trends the last 2 years that the home teams and the favorites are 0-8 against the spread the last 2 years.
Oh, my God.
Home teams and favorites are 0-8 against the spread the last 2 years.
And also, in the last 2 years, the under has hit 8 out of 8 games, right?
7-1.
7-1 the under. So there's some betting trends for your degenerate friends. That's our degenerate Italian Diggs there. At Ty Schmidt is joining us. Jason McAfee, Viva Lazito, Evan Foxy, and Tom McComas on the phones. We'll get to those in a bit. Massive wild card weekend this weekend. Bills at Texans, Titans at Patriots, Vikings at Saints, Seahawks at Eagles. Then cap it off with the Golden Globes. It's a perfect weekend to stay inside. For those of you that live in warm climates, I don't envy you this weekend because when the sun is out, you feel obligated to go outside and do things. For us, the weather's going to be despicable. It's going to be disgusting. There's going to be a lot on television. I'm going to go ahead and Fortnite myself inside my living room with some vitamins and enjoy the hell out of the show. For me, I think the most intriguing game, obviously, is the Titans-Patriots because there's so much on the line. Not only your dynasty and Tom Brady's future and Belichick's future, but this Titans team, could they finally make the turn that they've been so close to taking the turn on for so long? I, at the draft, alongside many other greats, got to announce a draft pick. I was forced to take a shot at the Tennessee Titans. I was forced to. My hand was forced by Reggie Wayne, whose hand was forced by the dumb guy sitting front row that talked trash to Reggie Wayne. So Reggie had to bury the Titans, which in turn made me have to bury the Titans because we were on the same team. Reggie Wayne now, Pro Football Hall of Fame finalist, by the way. Shout out to him and Edgerrin James. Both deserve to go in. Troy Polamalu, who's a raging ass who took my dreams, he also deserves to go in there. I think this Hall of Fame class should be a good one. But the Titans have always been a team that's been this close. They've been this close to being good. You never knew what was going to hold them back each year. It was either their offense wouldn't be able to handle it, the defense wouldn't be able to handle it. This year, if Vrabel makes the change from Mariota, nobody's talked about it, by the way. Mariota has not been heard from or talked about since. Tannehill gets out from underneath Gase's umbrella and shines for the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry, this 6'9", 400-pound running back that can run a 4.2 on his contract year, blossoms into the rushing leader, but they're going into the evil empire into New England to play a massive wild card game that the Patriots could have got out of by winning against Ryan Fitzpatrick. So there's a lot on the line in that game, and I have no idea what's going to happen. But Michael Lombardi in the first hour basically told us that the Patriots are locked to win this game. And for the rest of the NFL, that can't be good, knowing that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels could potentially get hot for the rest of this playoff run.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the Patriots have looked like this year. They just don't lose these games. And the analytics, I think people are thinking maybe they were like going in the direction of the Titans. They're not. I mean, they're all in favor of the Patriots. You look at all this kind of stuff. Like we all thought the Titans were going to win. I'm not so sure the Patriots aren't going to win by 2 to 3 touchdowns.
They might win by 40.
Yeah.
So Winter Storm Henry's coming to New England tomorrow. It's Derrick Henry's birthday. I mean, there's all these things that make you think, yeah, the Titans have a shot. Instead, whenever you look deeper at it, it's like Belichick's going to eliminate Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill, who is 0-6 against the Patriots in New England in his career, is also 0-7 in his career in games underneath 40 degrees. Tom Brady's 50-7 in games under 40 degrees. I mean, this just feels as if the Patriots are going to dominate. And I don't like that because I like that Titans team.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Titans team a lot. I like Taylor Lewan. He's a friend of the show. I like Brett Kern. I like that Ryan Tannehill has been able to do well. I like what old Derrick Henry's doing. I like that team. But, boy, it just feels like this is going to be a slaughterhouse for the Patriots. Whenever we were thinking up until about 25 minutes ago that this is going to be a Titans win.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The Titans have like the number 6 rushing defense, so you assume the Patriots probably won't be able to rush. And then you know that Bill Belichick is going to take Derrick Henry away. So it's going to be Tannehill versus Tom Brady.
And I don't care how Tom Brady has looked. I'm thinking Tom Brady every single time.
And the Patriots defense is like number 1 passing defense versus the Titans is number 30 in passing defense.
Now, we like the Texans at home, -2.5 against the Bills. J.J. Watt's coming back. And whenever J.J. Watt does anything of importance in Houston, babies in hospitals lose their minds. That stadium goes crazy. Congrats to Houston for hosting another playoff game. I think they finally get a playoff win, too. Whenever in the past kind of haven't been able to get that, it's been a disappointing ending. I think they get a win here and move forward. The Saints are going to win, but the Vikings are going to cover. The Eagles at home, underdogs against the Seahawks. Good for them getting another win on a team that has been beat up and got literally nothing. They got nothing to their team anymore other than Carson Wentz making plays. Doug Peterson has even acknowledged it. He's like, we're not supposed to win these games. We are Super Bowl champs just a couple years ago, but everybody thinks we stink. It's because they do. On paper, they stink. Every one of their weapons is out, but they've somehow managed to win games. Good for the Eagles getting that win.
Lombardi said it. It's tough to win at the home field twice in one season. Stats for that. When the first game was at home and the second game was at home, the home team is 30-17 straight up, winning the game.
Yeah, so let's just assume that the Eagles are in a good spot. And the Seahawks, they were an eighth of an inch away from being a bye this weekend. Instead, they get back, they do this, they do that, they have a delay a game. I mean, there's a lot of things working against them last week. Now they have to play against a wounded bird in the Eagles that seem like they're going to get a win at home. Or maybe not. The wild card weekend is going to be a good one. A lot of conversation right now around all sports media and all sports talk shows like this one are what's going to happen with the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. Jason Garrett, by some reports, already out. By other reports, hasn't been told he's out yet. Michael Lombardi said in the first hour that he thinks Jerry Jones is allowing Jason Garrett the opportunity to pursue other jobs to see if he'll get anything before officially announcing that he will be gone from the Dallas Cowboys. This is a cluster. Can't say what I was going to say. Truck of a situation. Jason Garrett is forced to take year-end meetings with players. The players are saying he sounds like he's coming back. All reports are saying he's gone. He's been a lame duck coach for the last 6-7 weeks. It's been a rough situation for Jason Garrett. I think Cowboys fans are excited to see him go, but Jerry Jones just can't pull the trigger yet publicly because it's a family-run business, and Jason Garrett is like a son to me. Now, he won't get a single dime from the Cowboys organization after I let him go, but he's like a son to me. You hear me? It's an interesting situation. That's going to be a job that that people are going to want. Can't wait to see who they hire. I think it should be Lincoln Riley. Lombardi thinks it'll be an NFL guy, somebody with some experience who can handle Jerry Jones.
Do you think that's a good idea, though? I mean, like, at the last 10 years, like, the lack of success the Cowboys have had, does it make sense for them to just bring in some, like, plug-and-play coach who's been a bunch? Like, don't you need to reestablish this culture moving forward?
I have no idea. It all comes from Jerry Jones' brain. Let's say we make $1 billion here. I don't know how. But let's say we make $1 billion. Let's say we create something that makes $1 billion, and we buy an NFL team. Okay? And I'm the owner of the NFL team, and we're running it on day-to-day. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. That's what I would be like. I would be like that. And that's exactly how Jerry Jones is. That's how Dan Snyder is. That's why he's wishing people happy Thanksgiving on January 2nd. Jerry Jones, whatever Jerry Jones wants to do is what the Cowboys are going to do. And you can't blame the guy because he's the one who owns the team outright, takes no public money, does whatever the hell he wants. But he could wake up one day and say, you know what? Yeah, maybe I do want a young guy like Lincoln Riley in here to turn things around. Or he could wake up and be like, you know what? I complimented Zimmer like 3 weeks ago. You try to get him. You have no idea. It's all in Jerry Jones' mind. It's Jerry world, literally on a day-to-day basis. You have no clue what he's going to do. That's why everything is so interesting with it. And that's why it's such a firestorm, everything they do, because it's one man making decisions for a franchise that is on national television every single week. And you have to respect it. And I just have no clue what's going on.
I would say that, like, people say that Jerry likes to have someone who he could put his thumb on and make the decisions for them. But he also hired Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells, who, coming into that, were known people who were not going to do that.
Yeah, but I think Bill Parcells even said that he wasn't able to do anything because Jerry Jones even neutered Bill Parcells, I think, who is a known guy that does whatever the hell Bill Parcells wants to do. I think it's a very intriguing job. I would think the guy that had no NFL experience would be the right guy that Jerry Jones would want in there because then he could kind of mold him into the person that he wants to be, like Lincoln Riley. Like Jerry Jones could mold Lincoln Riley into the NFL coach that he thinks he should be, just like he did with Jason Garrett, by the way. He molded Jason Garrett into the head coach that he thought he should be, and it didn't have a lot of success. Maybe Lincoln Riley with a new offensive brain could go in there and do that. Let's pivot now to the Cleveland Browns. The Brownies have set up shop in Dee Podesta's basement, which is in La Jolla, California, or something like that. He was the butterball, Moneyball guy for the Athletics. What are you laughing about, Nick?
Oh, you a little shame though.
Butterball.
Good turkeys.
Freudian slip.
And butterball. They have a butterball hotline too if you don't know how to fry your turkey.
Yeah. Don't bring your house down.
No free plugs, but that's a good idea. They got a lady on a headset, like a Fortnite Bluetooth headset. Anyways, they move it into Moneyball's basement, and they say they're going to hire a head coach first and then let the head coach decide and help them in the hiring of the GM process. Smart move for the first time, I think, in a long time for the Browns. Let's get somebody as a head coach. Now, granted, depends on who it is. If they hire Joe Thomas, who threw his name into the ring yesterday on this show, and let him do it, I mean, that's an interesting move. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Urban Meyer, which we said about a week ago because of the ties that Urban has to Ohio. Ohio loves Urban Meyer. And I only know that because Urban Meyer took a shot at me, so I took a couple shots back at Urban Meyer because I ain't no bitch. That's just how it's going to go. And what happened was a bunch of old whites from Ohio came after me still, and they said, don't you ever talk about Urban Meyer. And then you look at their profile, they're all the same person. They literally have a photo of Urban Meyer as their Twitter profile. Urban brought a lot of success to Ohio State. Urban brought a lot of happiness to the state of Ohio. If he can go in there to Cleveland and turn that place around, that guy might be the dictator of Ohio within 10 years, which would be something that is very interesting. It looks like Urban misses the game if you watch the way he acted in that college football playoff game. He misses coaching. He still got it, by the way. You hear him talk on that big noon show. I think Urban Meyer's the right answer in Cleveland. He could bring a dictatorship style in there that needs a little bit of discipline, it feels like. Hire a good offensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator. Bang, then he's off and running. He's the hero Ohio needs, the hero Ohio wants, and that could be a situation. But it's the Browns. Let's assume they mess it up.
Yeah, and they said Jimmy Haslam said yesterday that they're looking for somebody with NFL experience.
So that could be McCarthy now. Then you lean towards potentially Coach McCarthy, Mike McCarthy, who was with the Green Bay Packers. If you've seen the video that I tweeted out that Tom Pelissaro made, which is beautifully done, by the way, the Mike McCarthy project, he's been watching film as if he's still a head coach at his house with Jimmy Haslett and some other people. Is that his name, Jimmy Haslett?
Yeah.
Jim Haslett.
He's a bum.
Don't you say that.
He is.
I said one guy was a bum, and my mentions were blowing up.
Very too many Jim Haslett fans out there.
Saints fans are going to come at you.
I don't know who Jim Haslett is.
He's a bum, exactly.
Okay, well, he's been hanging out in McCarthy's basement. They've been watching film as if they're still a head coach. I think McCarthy gets a job this year. If it's at the Browns, there's another good option there for the Cleveland Browns. Let's assume McDaniels does not go to the Cleveland Browns. Let's assume McDaniels does not want to leave anywhere other than where Tom Brady's going to be, which is potentially Dallas Cowboys. But other than that, I think it's McCarthy or Urban Meyer for the Cleveland Browns, and I honestly believe that.
Do you think that's potentially a misdirect after the Bruce Feldman report came out that said they were eyeing in on Urban Meyer and that they're just trying to cover their tracks a little bit?
Yeah, it feels as if these owners get caught. Right? So somebody in the owner's inner circle leaks news, and then whenever that gets out, the owner gets upset that they weren't able to leak the news themselves, so then they have to completely counteract what that is with their own story leaking because they want to be unpredictable. And also, you don't know who you're going to get, so you don't want your fans to get set up for something and then have another massive failure. Because if the Browns have been elite at one thing, it's been disappointing the dog pound. And if they were to set up their fans with a potential hire of a coach, and then that coach doesn't become the coach, whoever becomes the coach is coming into not only a terrible situation with a bad franchise that hasn't won in forever, but also a disappointed fan base that thought they were getting somebody else, like Urban Meyer, for instance. If that fan base who loves Urban thinks they're getting Urban Meyer, it doesn't matter who else comes in there. That person's got no shot winning the fans ever, unless they win some games, which doesn't seem like that is normal in Cleveland.
Josh McDaniels announced that he's going to do his coaching interviews on January 10th, which I believe is next Thursday or something.
Oh, he thinks they're going to lose.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Josh
saying.
McDaniels thinks he's going to lose.
You would have thought he would have been like, I'll do him after the playoffs, but
got 1 foot out the door already.
Wow, your offensive coordinator is already sick of playing her. But just like what Josh McDaniels did with the Colts.
Exactly.
If he accepts the job, that doesn't mean he's going to take the job. You can take the reservation. You just can't hold the reservation. That's two different things. Josh McDaniels was on a plane to Indianapolis to be the Indianapolis head coach. There was already a press conference set up and a meet and greet with a lot of the advertisers and sponsors for the Colts already set up. All this was already set up, and he turns that plane right back around and says, "Nah, I'm good." Let's not put that past Josh McDaniels again, especially with his name being as hot in the streets as they are right now. I think for the Browns, it's either Urban Meyer or McCarthy. And I think both would be good hires, depending upon who Urban Meyer gets as offense coordinator and defense.
Right.
What a scumbag move that was. And none of these teams care.
Yeah, but if you're Josh McDaniels, I mean, the Colts were directly responsible for Deflategate.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, there was some headaches that the old Colts caused McDaniels there for a while. And whether, there was a guy nicknamed the Deflator. I mean,
erroneous.
It was a complete joke, a complete scam. There was no reason for that to happen as long as it did. And if you played for the Colts, you hated it because the only thing that got mentioned was the fact that we lost to the Patriots by 75 points every time they brought it up. We got to get to a break. Steve-O's joining us in 12 minutes.
Let's go.
Excited for that.
On the other side of this break, we'll break down ESPN's rankings of the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs right now. I have some thoughts on the people that are judging. I'm going to judge the judgers. It's a good little part of the show is we get to judge the people that judge things. Josh Allen is the 12th rated quarterback in the playoffs.
Makes sense.
Guess who the number 11 one is? Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
excuse me?
Just slander.
I can't take it anymore. I can't with these people. You know who I can with, though? The people that know that this time of year is the number one time to get engaged.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're in love and ready to get engaged, go see our friend Steven Singer, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. You've been hearing us talk about him for weeks. And you might have seen his billboards in Philly. I hate Steven Singer. Other jewelers love to hate Steven. Why? Because Steven makes buying a diamond easy. No negotiating, no haggling, no nonsense, and no BS. Just one perfect price every day. And he has the best quality, best diamonds anywhere. Check out Steven's Ready for Love diamond engagement ring collection that is ready to go. Each diamond is hand-selected and picked by his real expert jewelers. No one selling online or anywhere else for that matter does it better than Steven Singer Jewelers. He takes no risk shopping to the next level with his full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee and fast and free shipping both ways. Whether your budget is $500 or $5,000, Steven has the perfect engagement ring for you at the perfect price. Visit the real Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philadelphia or online at IHateStevenSinger.com. And that's Steven with a V. IHateStevensinger.com with free shipping. Real diamonds, real experts, real jewelers, Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevensinger.com. You know, I know Christmas just passed and Hanukkah passed and the New Year passed, but Valentine's Day is a-coming. A great gift to not only keep the love, but showcase your love is some diamond jewelry from our friend at IHateStevensinger.com. 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee.
Oh, not bad.
That's awesome. So if you even ask the question and she says, nah, no big deal, send it back. It's 11:20 on the East Coast, 8:20 on the West, and all the time in between. We're 10 minutes out from Steve-O. This is a nice feel-good Friday. We'll get some phones on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Ten years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Steve-O is here. He's in the office. Has one of the cutest dogs I've ever seen with him. I'm just scrolling through SteveO.com right now. He has hot sauce for your butthole at $7.99 right now on sale. Down from $19.99 originally. So hop on that deal quick. He'll be joining us in like 4 minutes. We're going to get to another break so we can just go 23 minutes straight with him. Let's get to Keenan in Cincinnati. He's 14 years old. Keenan, why are you listening to this show? Should you not be in school right now?
It is a break, Pat. And
I don't need your
so
answer.
being a Bengals fan, I have no idea what's going to happen. So if you were to predict the Bengals season with Joe Burrow going forward for like the next couple of seasons, what would you predict for one of the many disgraces in Cincinnati sports?
I think you nailed it there. Ian in Columbus, what's up, bub? Ian.
What's going on, Pat?
Hey, just hanging out. Good voice there. I did not expect that out of you in Columbus, Indiana. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, I had a choice for you. Either we can talk about Bill Belichick or Tim Tebow.
Oh, Tim Tebow, for sure.
Okay, with change of pace, Lamar Jackson going off this year, and Josh Daniels drafting Tim Tebow. How come Tim Tebow never made it in the NFL? Because they're basically the same person, just Lamar Jackson is a little faster.
Same throw.
I love that. Let's go to Duncan in Athens, Georgia. Tim Tebow is Lamar Jackson. I love that. What's going on, Duncan?
Hey, Pat, I wanted to throw in a coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think Wink Martindale from the Ravens should go down there and bring in Joe Brady to take over Dallas?
You see, I think Joe Brady's going to go potentially to the Bengals with Joe Burrow because what those two have been able to do together have been magical. I'm not saying Joe Brady can't do it with Dak Prescott, who's also very talented. Let's assume that Joe Brady is going to be a highly sought-after offensive coordinator for the NFL. I'm just not 100% sure that old Wink is going to want to leave what they got in Baltimore right now. That's the big thing. It's like Greg Roman. You have something special right now in Baltimore for a lot of these guys who've been in coaching for a long time, which Greg Roman has, Wink has. You know whenever you're sitting on something that's magical, you can't win in the NFL unless you have a little bit of magic. The Baltimore Ravens have magic right now. I don't know why you'd want to walk away from that. I have no idea why, but a paycheck is a paycheck, and to become a head coach is everybody's dream. Maybe you think you can do the same thing with Dak. I'm just not 100% sure. That Lamar Jackson is very special, and what they have built there on that roster with Ozzie Newsome is very special. I don't know why you'd want to leave. Joe Brady's going to be an NFL offense coordinator very soon, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's that Sean Payton tie to Jerry Jones, though, and
maybe Joe Brady's the head coach.
Joe Brady.
Oh, wow. Oh, because he was with the Saints, too, so he does have NFL ties.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Joe Brady's the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Congratulations to him.
Hey,
all right. We got to get to a break. We got Steve-O on the other side. I mean, I was just scrolling through his website here. His autobiography is called Professional Idiot, a memoir.
I like that.
By Steve-O.
Not bad.
By the way, anybody that is a professional anything can't be an idiot. You have to be a genius in your own right. Can't wait to learn about what Steve-O's genii is. We'll be back on the other side. Jackass star, stand-up comedian who's in Indianapolis at Helium Comedy Club this weekend and in Chicago next weekend. For tickets, go to steveo.com. We'll be back with him. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Joining us now is a Peruvian dog named Wendy, who is absolutely beautiful and one of the nicest dogs I've ever seen. She's kind of a little bit weary about Boston Connor on the couch right now, and a man who is a legend no matter where he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve-O. Attaboy! Steve-O, okay, you're in town. You got 2 shows tonight and tomorrow at the Helium Comedy Club.
Right, it's actually 2 shows tonight and 2 shows tomorrow night.
It's stand-up comedy here in Indianapolis, and also next week you're in Chicago, I believe.
At the Chicago Improv in like a suburb of Chicago. So
yeah, well, it's in.
But
the
yeah,
area.
it's gonna be great, man.
Okay, you've been doing stand-up now for how long?
I'm in my 10th year of consistent touring.
Okay, so what was the decision to go from being this legend on television? I'm 32 years old. A lot of the guys in here around my same age, we grew up in the Jackass era. I mean, you and the boys were literally a part of our life. Very thankful for it. By the way, thanks for everything you did.
Well, thank you, man.
Thanks for sacrificing your body.
As an attention whore, I appreciate that. That's all I ever wanted.
You had our attention, but what was the move to go be a stand-up comedy? You're like, you know what? I have a lot of great stories that people want to hear it.
Yeah, the first time I did it, it was completely unintentional. I had been invited to perform a stunt at a comedy club in August of 2006, and I agreed to do it, gave no thought whatsoever as to what I would do. And here I showed up at this comedy club in Hollywood, and I walked in, and I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? And I just kind of observed what was happening, and I just thought if I tried stand-up comedy, that would be like the craziest, most terrifying stunt, you know? And so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to get on that stage, and I'm going to do stand-up. That's my stunt. And, waiting for my turn to get on stage, I had a little bit of time to think of like a few things that might get a laugh saying, and I could not have been on stage for more than 3 minutes, but the experience I had was that people were rooting for me, they were excited to see me, they wanted to have a good time, I got a few laughs, and I was just like, dude, I'm going to do this, and I scheduled my return before I left that night, and I did it a few times, and I bombed a few times because when I came back for I scheduled my turn. I came back. I was all jazzed. I sat down. I wrote a little set. I actually got some laughs, and then I was like, okay, I did that, and I had like a buddy film it. I did that. Okay, cool. And so then I didn't come back to work on the same material. Was my crucial error.
Oh yeah, new stuff. I'm bored.
Every time I get there, and so I had a really good experience the second time I did it. Then the third time, and by the way, I was completely on drugs this whole time. So the third time I came back, I was just like, oh man, I'm just good at this. Whatever, I don't need to prepare. And got on stage without having prepared material, and it was the worst experience. And then I had that happen again. And so I sort of went away from it, and it was after I got sober that I actually dove into it. Now it's been 10 years. And you nailed it, man. The way I approached stand-up from the start was just storytelling, I've had such, legitimately insane experiences and wild stories.
Yeah.
That there's plenty of material, but as I've done it over the last 10 years, my worlds have converged where now it's fully multimedia. The show I'm doing, it's called the Bucket List Tour. And I just went after these stunts that I never particularly thought I was going to do, really gnarly stuff. And
what is something that in Steve-O's mind would be like, you know what, I don't think I would even do, because honestly, from watching you,
right,
I feel like you're one of the humans that we have in existence that would do anything. Hey, yeah,
right, I'm glad you asked.
Have you said no to something?
Sure, but the saying no to stuff is mostly like being duct taped to a mechanical bull. I figured that at a certain point you need to fall off that thing, and if you're taped to it, you're going to get a spinal cord injury. So
Yeah.
I generally decline things based on avoiding wheelchairs and coffins. but okay, so one of the things for the bucket list, it's like I like to think of it as the crown jewel, is skydiving, of course, over the course of my career has come up like many times. And I just think like, okay, like any way that you take on skydiving, it's just the same thing. You're going to pull the chute and like, and it just doing it just seemed dumb to me.
Yeah.
So every time for like 20 years that anybody ever mentioned skydiving, I said, dude, everybody does that. Like, that's lame. That's not a stunt. And then I said, I think it was like 20 years ago. I said, if I ever go skydiving, because the first time you have to have a dude strapped to your back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be butt naked and furiously servicing myself with a dude on my back.
Okay.
Such that upon completion, actually simultaneously as I pee white, I'm falling out of an airplane. and I never thought I was going to do that for a lot of reasons. You know, like, it actually proved to be really challenging to find, not just to find actually finding the dude was easy, but the company that would sign off on it. You know, we heard a lot of, this is a family business, you know, we can't have that. And then I went on my social media, and it was pretty simple from there. But actually doing it, logistically, there was nothing simple about it. It was an airplane full of dudes, and I was naked with a dude.
So while the plane is, because the planes that you skydive at, I've done one time, I'll never do it again. They're tiny little planes, and you almost want to get out of it because of how small it is, and it's uncomfortable in there. So while the plane is fart boxing up to whatever 12,000, 13,000 feet, you're just going
15,000.
15,000. You're going to town on yourself while you're going up there.
Yeah, I had a little portable DVD player set up.
What film?
Man, I didn't even look at the title. It turned out to be called like Anal Destruction 2.
By the way,
like that.
Was possible if you're landing, because you land on your butt right when another dude's on you, and if you're completely naked, you guys land on your feet?
I do recall that we ran out of it. We somewhat stayed standing the whole time. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Guy gave me the funniest double high five. But yeah, and not a drop landed in the plane. It was a completely success in that regard. So skyjacking is one of them. There's and what else? Like, the oldest idea that I have of all of them was based on a joke that I heard in 7th grade, which was, what is the definition of macho?
Okay.
A man who jogs home from his own vasectomy. And I just never forgot that joke because I always wanted to be macho. So I wrote an idea called the Vasectomy Olympics. And it was pretty dope. I went I came out of the
this is your stand-up, by the way? What, you just tell the stories of them, or you actually do these things?
I did the act is about these absurd stunts, where the ideas came from, like the implications on my relationship of going through with them.
Yeah.
It's an act about these stunts and how it sort of feels like a race against the clock because I'm in this terrible situation. I'm Steve-O in my 40s.
Let's talk about that. You are Steve-O in your 40s.
I know, it's a jam.
And hold on though. In Jackass 4, we had a big celebration whenever it came out that there's another Jackass coming. But the initial thought by all of us as people that were diehard Jackass fans is, you all are some old dudes now. The body might not be prepared for Jackass 4. Is that something you guys have you shot it yet, and are you prepared for that?
There was they brought on like a few.
Oh no! Don't say this is getting. Is this getting corporate? That's what it sounds like.
No. Okay. I mean, I guess like hard to imagine the guys that there's like a few younger dudes that are in the mix.
Oh, they brought some young.
Oh no! You guys getting replaced?
That's a good question. I mean, whatever. Who cares? I don't know. But
have you shot it yet?
We're supposed to start shooting in February.
And how does the brainstorming happen? Because I think in Jackass maybe 3 or Jackass 2, you guys showed how, and it was a process that had never been shown before. But it's like somebody drew up an idea, and then that gets like stick figure, and it gets like emailed, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, good idea." Is that the brainstorming process?
I mean, there's no formula. There's no format. Like ideas come all different ways, and everybody comes up with ideas. I have drawn stick figures myself, but there was never a stick figure for skyjacking. There was never a stick figure for this other one on my bucket list tour where I rode a bicycle while having general anesthesia drugs administered through IV.
How'd that last?
That one was an ordeal, man. That was highly illegal. That one, there's nothing. It was.
Has the planning already happened for Jackass 4? Do you already know what you're going to do, or is that stuff?
Well, honestly, the contracts aren't even finished. Like at least in my case, so we'll figure it out.
Wait, did they release that statement to put a little leverage on you? So like, hey, we're going to do this without you to get you to sign the deal.
I don't know one way or the other, but we'll figure it out.
Hey, can't be without you. Can't do it without you.
I feel like I don't understand what it's been. How long it's been? It's been just about 10 years. 10 years ago, we were getting ready to shoot Jackass 3D. That came out in October of 2010. So now we're in 2020, 10 years, and I've just been really active the whole time. You know, I think that I've worked pretty hard to,
establish yourself,
to keep myself going.
Hell yeah, your YouTube is a monster, by the way.
Well, thanks, man.
No
yeah,
problem.
YouTube's good. Like, there's I've done a lot of stuff, and so I don't know. I'm not gonna say they
say it.
They need me more than I need the movie, maybe.
I would. By the way,
I agree.
If Jackass 4 comes out and there's no Steve-O, there's going to be quite a line of what the hell are we doing here?
Might as well rename it.
Yeah, exactly. Jack.
And whatever, dude. I like.
You put the ass in Jackass.
This. I've never said that publicly. That and then the announcement only just recently got made. So. There you go. There's an exclusive thing.
Hey! We appreciate you doing that.
But dude, I don't want to not do it. I don't want to not do it. I just need them to
respect and appreciate.
Don't. I'm not a fucking idiot or an asshole.
Oh, can't say that. I mean, come on, Steve. We had to dump in 10 seconds. Let's wait. And we're back. You're right, Steve-O. Okay, so
we'll figure it out. I'm sure it's going to be great. I got a lot of ideas, and 100% whether it's for a movie or for a subsequent tour or even for YouTube or any number of other projects that I have, in development. I'm going to do every idea on my list, and I'm confident that my ideas are pretty strong.
Listen, you talked down about yourself for a long time about how you're an attention-seeking this and all that stuff. And I want to let you know, though, we appreciate it. There has to be humans like you in the world. And I think you started as a clown. Is that accurate?
I was a circus clown, yeah. And let me qualify the statement that I'm an attention whore. I don't even necessarily consider that talking down.
Okay, good.
Because when you get right down to it, and as commodities go in the world, there's nothing more valuable than attention. Right? There's very little that you can sell as a commodity that's worth more than the attention of a large audience.
Agreed. Concur. So you started as a circus clown.
Started as a circus clown, and I went to clown college because I wanted to further my goal of becoming a famous, crazy stuntman, for which there was no precedent.
Okay, so right now, you're literally living your childhood dream of doing stunts and doing things that nobody else would do.
100%. I went to the University of Miami straight out of high school. I had found the video camera through skateboarding, recognized that I wasn't that great at skateboarding, and so I thought I would go to the University of Miami to become a creative advertising executive, but I couldn't bring myself to go to class, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just do gnarly, crazy things and videotape it. So I failed out of college, and I got kicked out of the dorms, and I was upping to leave, just straight drop out entirely. And everybody was asking me, well, what are you going to do now? And I told them I'm going to videotape crazy stunts and become a famous stuntman with a home video camera. And everybody straight up felt sorry for me.
What year was that?
That was 1993.
Oh my God, so ahead of your time though. Like right now, that is everybody's like. There's a lot of people that are like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do dumb stuff with a camera on the internet, and I'm gonna make money off it. You were in 1993 saying that.
1993, there was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing as email yet. The only way that I was like seeking to get discovered was to plug VCRs together and hit play on one and record on the other to, edit my little videos and then duplicate them with these stacks of big videotapes. And then I would physically walk over to the post office and mail them to whoever I thought might watch, and be able to help me get somewhere. And I did not get anywhere. And I was,
Dear Hugh Hefner.
Right. I was homeless for 3 years, couch surfing, and ended up living with my sister, who found out about Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College, and that it was free to get into if you could get in. It was it was highly exclusive, difficult to get into, but if you could get in, it was free. And my sister wanted me out of her house, and I thought that might, like, if I was a trained circus professional, people might take me more seriously.
Okay, so you do that. You become this superstar, megastar. Now you're a stand-up comedian. Your YouTube is massive. Steve-O.com. You sell hot sauce for buttholes and everything else. I mean, you're this conglomerate of an entrepreneurial. Whenever you look back on your career, what is the one stunt that you go, you know what, that was awesome?
I screen on skyjacking at every show, and I honestly, I've done, I don't know, hundreds of shows, probably
Was your sobriety something that scared you?
It scared me, yeah. Everything kind of around that can be kind of scary. But yeah, sobriety's awesome, dude.
10 years, you said?
12.
Congratulations.
Almost 12. I don't want to give myself more time than I have. My sobriety date's March 10th of 08. So I'm creeping up on 12 years.
Okay, well, congratulations, because there was a
Thank
lot
you.
of scary photos that came out about you that all your big fans were very... By the way...
It was worse than just photos. It was bad.
There was a whole YouTube special.
It was bad, and I could not be more grateful for how bad it got, because, with alcoholism and drug addiction, that's something that you don't want to dabble in, you know, because that would be the worst. If you just had alcoholism and drug addiction, just a little bit, just enough to interfere with your relationships and just ruin your everything, productivity, stop you from accomplishing anything, and then the years just slip through your fingers because you have alcoholism, just kinda, but not so bad that it's gotta stop. Then years turn into decades, and then you're like, where'd my life go? That happens to a lot of people. And in my case, it was so stark. It was just so drastically terrible that I had to do something about it. And because that was the case, here I'm 12 years in, and I've been super productive. Like I said, I've been pretty productive for this whole period of sobriety. And now I'm not missing out. I'm doing what I want to be doing.
Wow. Steve-O! Steve-O! That's awesome, man. We got a minute and a half left. And
all right.
When we heard you were coming in here, Diggs just brought in a stapler gun. I'm like, I don't think that's the right thing. I don't know if that's how it is. Everywhere you go, do people just expect you to do dumb things? Not dumb. I'm sorry, massively.
No, hey, dude. I'm comfortable calling it dumb things. And you know what I get more than people trying to get me to do silly stunts? And this is completely fascinating to me. Like, what I get the most is dudes saying, man, is there any way I could get you to kick me in the nuts? Like, honestly, like dudes, I have zero doubt whatsoever that I have been asked by more dudes to kick them in the nuts than any man who's ever lived in the history of the universe.
Congratulations to you for that.
I might have kicked more nuts, too.
See him at Helium Comedy Club tonight and tomorrow in Indianapolis, in Chicago or the suburbs of Chicago next week.
Chicago Improv next weekend. You guys are champions, man. And what a hero of Indianapolis, Pat McAfee.
Oh, Jesus. So it's McAfee. Have some respect. We'll see you next week. Feel Good Friday's beautiful. This has been the Pat McAfee show.
McAfee. Hey, you're a legend, dude.
What a day. Have a great weekend.
Did you know over 60% of men experience significant hair loss by age 35? Some shave it or hide it, but some of us want to treat it.